Everybody, everybody's in again. Hey, and Ikechuku, I haven't seen you in the earlier sessions. Can you put your camera on? Are you still in the bus? Ikechuku, are you there? Hello? Hey, Precious. Hi, everybody. Sorry for this session being a little bit chaotic, but we'll manage. Ikechuku, if you're there, please let me know. Just give me a hi or something. It's always good to know. Precious, are you there?
Hi, Rudolph. Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
I'm here now.
I have a little bit of an assignment for you during this class. If you could
Okay.
add images to your Miro of buildings that you are inspired by, right?
Buildings.
Yeah, three-dimensional objects, buildings that you think are like representational, right?
Okay.
Design. And you put it in
That
your Miro.
represents like that represents a marketplace.
Yeah, what you think would be a great environment for your NFT, so the works of art, to be hosted in a 3D space. Could be anything. Okay? Just
Okay.
and just do that right now and then keep us online. Obviously stay online, but you can work on that right now. And then I'll go to Fatumata. Can you share your, do you have worked at the assignment?
Yeah, but let me try and connect my laptop because I'm actually using my phone.
Fine. Then I'll go to Mary in the meanwhile, okay? Mary. I first go to Mary.
Hello.
And then I go to you, Fatumata. Then you can check if you can get on your laptop. Hey, Mary, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Can you share your screen?
Yes, please.
Hey, Ikechuku. Good to hear you, man. Are you there? So if you can, Ikechuku, please put on your camera so that we can see you, but maybe not your audio if you're in a bus. Okay, let's go.
So I managed to finalize my previous assignment. I'm going to just rush through because it leads to what I want to do.
Okay.
So my culture heritage is actually that of Uganda, and I looked at one case study in particular. It is the Kasubi tombs, and it actually portrays our cultural traditions much better, and that is why I chose it. Now, as you can see, these are the burial grounds for the Kabaka, the kings of the kingdom. And yes, I looked at the significant features, and it actually emulates the typical Ganda homestead. And in this homestead, we actually see a sense of hierarchy. Then another important aspect was the courtyard, and it is a communal space within the homestead that brings people together. And in Uganda, we call it Oluja. Then we also see the dome-shaped structures in form of huts. We see the arched entrances. And also the materials. We have
that looks
the reeds,
amazing though, eh?
Starch.
Wow, that looks really amazing.
Yes.
Make sure to put this on Miro if you can, eh?
Yeah,
Miro
yeah,
is free to use.
Yes. Yes, I'm going to put it there. Then some of the significant values include the spiritual values. Of course, from the tombs, we believe in life after death. And that is actually the basis of these grounds. Then, but I'm going to put, I wanted to put this on the drive. Maybe you could read through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
please make in the drive.
Then another aspect.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Then the other value is the sense of identity and continuity, which is seen in the clan system. Our names, most of our cultural practices actually are more, they revolve around the idea of a clan. Yes, and you see even in construction, for this particular structure in Buganda, each clan had a responsibility during the construction. As you see, this Ngeye clan, it was responsible for the thatching, another clan for the decoration, another clan for the royal drums that were within those grounds, and also the gatekeeping in the tombs. Yes, so the major values I wanted, some of the things I wanted to see in the metaverse are things that are actually representative of our culture. We see the materials like the earth, the wooden poles, the wattle, etc. Then that earthy color palette, the clan system. Our clan system, as I've already mentioned, depicts a sense of hierarchy, and it also embraces a range of animal species from which different concepts can be drawn and abstracted.
Very good.
Then we see the art and craft. Yes, our people are very artsy. We see the woven mats, the reeds, the spears, that, you know, that metal, the metal works, the cowrie shells, the bucklers. It's actually amazing. Then the organic forms, not only in the structures, but also in the materials, the layouts. I think for our people, we're actually trying to emulate nature. You know how nature doesn't have a sense of rhythm and things are a bit random. So our people carried on that style. Then the dome-shaped structures and arched entrances. Then the hierarchy. Yes, that is seen in the Ganda system, the Ganda homestead and the clan system. So
very good.
When it came to the space that I wanted to design, it is called Oluja, and it will be a virtual meeting space for the Ganda Literature Book Club. Of course, the name is gotten from the semi-public study, supposed to bring people together. And the importance of this space will be to sort of bring the different readers and authors of the Ganda literature in one space, and, you know, yeah, as a space for storytelling. The purpose of this space is because the modern Ganda youth are actually losing a sense of culture and tradition. And the importance of this space will be to sort of give them an opportunity to continue the cycle of passing down these traditions from generation to generation through the art of storytelling. Yes. So the architectural features that I'm looking for, the defining features will be, first, the fireplace that was called the Choto in this Oluja. And in our tradition, it was actually the converging point during the storytelling that was usually done at night, since everyone was looking for light and warmth. Then the other defining feature will be the Chikomela, that is the fence. You see it in yellow. That was actually defining this Oluja. And I'm looking at maybe this fence comprising of niches, represent each that will belong to a clan in Buganda, that will serve as niches for reading space, for reading. Yes. Then a drum house. This drum house, we have these folk songs that are actually dying out because, you know, no one is telling them, but I would like them to be a sort of performance within this space, this virtual space. Yes.
Really good.
So those are like the key elements or features. Yes. So this is what I had as the mood board. I have my keywords: warm, earthy, crafty, and organic. And I think you also see the color palette is evident. The materials are evident from the craft, the mud, and yes. So this is where I'm at, and I'm yet to develop further.
Okay. Well, you're on a good streak. You know, this is a good development. But now this is the challenge. Okay, this is the challenge. If we are creating something in a metaverse,
Okay.
we are building something in a universe that is not real. It's digital. It's not physical, it's digital. So whenever you design something, I think it's very important to be honest. With designing, we're honest. You know, honest design, it's also the buildings that you showed me, right? They're made of earth. They're made of organic objects, right? Because they come from the earth. You know, they come from the places where they are. Now, take all that with you, but then think also about in a metaverse, everybody is aware that this is a digital world, right? What happens if you create the illusion of something that is real? You're not being honest. Because if I'm creating a place that looks exactly like reality, but I'm not showing the digital nature of the reality where people are in, and we're now talking about a metaverse where people are in VR, a virtual reality, right? Imagine that, you're in virtual reality. Is everybody listening, by the way? Alan, Precious, everybody's also listening? Yeah. And you're and somebody's showing you a reality that looks very real, then you get confused, right? It is in my honest opinion that we also should think about, like, how do we show the digital nature of the environment? So we take the original thought patterns that we had and the things that we are learned to understand, and our conditioning and our heritage and all these things. But we also try to translate this to an environment that is not natural, that is digital, and translate also the reality of that digital space into the design. That makes the user, in this case, aware that I am in a space that is uniquely digital, right? What do you think about that when I say that?
It's a bit confusing.
Okay.
So
It's a bit confusing. It's a bit confusing, you say? Yeah? Okay. No, it's just an idea. These are concepts. So don't value them too much. But and maybe it's a little bit too abstract. So if everybody thinks that this is too abstract, just let me know, okay? But think about this. If you make a house out of wood, right? You use the trees from the land and you make the house, right? That's clear. If you're in a digital environment, what does the environment consist of? Not real trees, right? We can make things look like trees, but they're not. And next week I'll show you what they're made of, but they're made of pixels. They're made of vectors. You know, they're made of lines and dots, and there's a sort of a canvas. I'm going to talk about this next week, but they're made of digital stuff, so to say. And the digital stuff allows us to create completely different things also. It allows us to create buttons on a wall, or it allows us to, when we are entering the wall, that the wall disappears. All these kind of digital things, right? And so what I'm just trying to say is that we're designing first from our cultural heritage and try to translate that and think about, like, how would that work if we could do everything? If we're working with this digital material, right? Could we elevate our original concepts and traditional ideas and architecture, and can we translate these values and put them into this kind of new digital structure? Is that clear? Think about that a little bit. We're going to talk about sketching later, but first I'm just going to go to Fatoumata, right? I'm so bad with names.
Yeah, it's Fatmata. Sorry, I had to. The
No.
laptop is written PhD.
Thank you so much, Mary. It was great. Can I just one thing, Mary? Maybe think about it's just a consideration. I can imagine you use a different font when you're presenting. You know, try to use Helvetica or Arial. You know, whenever you're presenting something, these are kind of the standard fonts that kind of conveys, hey, this is a professional, because everything else is so great in your layout. Try to use a different font, and I hope that you can translate this also to Miro, so that Miro can become this kind of big board for you to work on. You know, you can go back to Miro every time. Okay. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Fatoumata. Can you show us a little bit what you'll be working on?
Sorry, could you repeat the font size you talked about? I didn't get it.
Yeah, so Mary did an amazing presentation, but I thought the font was a little bit off. The font is the letter type, and I think it's whenever you present something for any project or in a professional sense, we use just most of the time Helvetica or Arial, just standard fonts. It just comes across a little bit more professional. Okay, that's all. But whatever, it's all good, obviously, but it's just a tip. Nothing more. Okay, we're going to Fatoumata now. And can you share some of your work? Really excited to see all your mood boards, by the way. It's really nice.
Is it visible now?
Yes, totally.
Basically, what I wanted to represent in the metaverse is like the culture of my country. And I want to build a tourist city, whereas our cultural identity is going to be represented there. The first mirror I have here, it's the representation of the masquerade. Basically, back home, the masquerade has an identity of cultural. I don't know whether it has to do with when the kids are being circumcised. The masquerade, which is locally called the kankurang, it is being represented to protect and to make sure that like order and stability is being ensured in the community. So here, I want to try and see how I can use this pattern to make it visible in the metaverse world. And here we have the cowrie shells. It's more of like an oyster shell because Gambia is known for its beaches, and in the beaches we have a lot of shells that have been naturally found in our beaches. So these patterns of these shells, trying to see also how I will be able to represent this to show the importance of shells and our natural beaches, basically. And I think I have another screen. I don't know whether these things are visible. So basically, this is like our traditional settings. So for this first setting, it's how to call it rammed earth. Like traditionally, we use rammed earth or babun, how to call it, like dried sticks to construct. So here it is rammed earth. So
Maybe you can zoom in. Down below, you see the percentage right in the corner down below, and you can toggle that. Now below. Below, more below. You see the percentage, the 22%? No?
Sorry.
To the right, to the right, to the right. To the right. And then to below. And then to the right. No, no, with your cursor. Aim in the corner. Very much in the corner. You see the 22%? Helemaal below? Just completely below?
Sorry, just a moment.
Then you can zoom in. It's it's really on the bottom. On the bottom, on the right. No, of your program. To the bottom, completely to the bottom of your screen. See the bottom of the screen? You see the 22% in the corner? Right and on the right hand. You see that?
Sorry for that.
Don't worry. If you go with your cursor right to the bottom and to the right, you see the 22%. There's a line and you can make it bigger so that your images become bigger. You see that? Or is it not possible for you? Otherwise, don't worry about it. Then I'll not interrupt your presentation. Sorry. Please continue.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're gonna get there.
Sorry that I couldn't work with that side. So let me just basically try to see whether I can continue with my mood boards.
Yeah.
Here, the first element I have here, it's groundnut. Our country is well known for groundnuts, like it's one of our dormant natural resources. So so how can this tourist city being represented in the metaverse, how can we be able to portray this to show a setting whereas the people coming in will know that this country is well known for this production or this crop in particular. And here it has to do with the, how to call it, the weaving. In our traditional buildings, we have the thatch roofs, and this is the way the local men, they use the weaving method with these bamboo dried sticks to do the roofs. So basically trying to see how I can be inspired by these things and be able to see how it's going to be represented in the metaverse. And here also we have the, how to call it, the masquerade, still the representation of the masquerade, because it's really important. It shows really, it's really important culture-wise. And here, I'm actually someone who is really inspired by nature and agriculture. Here it has to do with our mangoes. It's like another thing that is also dominant is like the trees. On even the landscape, we have a lot of mango trees rampant all over. And here, I try to see how I can get the inspiration from calligraphy, Islamic calligraphy, to see how we can use this to represent it on the metaverse.
Yeah.
So basically, these were the inspirations I was able to put together. Am I audible?
Yeah. You have some more to show us?
Yeah, really I love to, but I'm trying that one is going to work.
We have the time. Oh, Ifat is there. Hey, Gifat. Take your time, Fatoumata. It's going well.
So here we are. I just hope now it is.
Ah, great. That's great.
Is it okay right now?
Yes, perfect.
Sorry
Amazing.
for the record. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Basically, I think I should start from this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just give you a small introduction about.
De fles ligt bij mijn bed. Oh, die kan ook. Ja.
So basically, this first setting has to do with a family compound house, and we can, like, there's always hierarchy, like in the settings of the traditional compound, there's always hierarchy. Like you always see the visibility of the symbolism of each and every hut in the traditional settings. For example, here it's a traditional home, but the hut of the man is always being represented in a circle form to show that it is like the centralization, like it's everything centers around the man of the house. So basically, everything centers around the man of the house, who basically most of the times will have like up to 3 to 4 wives, and then with their children and all that. So the masculinity of the hut will, deja, it is going to explain itself that this is the most important part of the building. Like this is the most important building in the compound. And then after there is, like, let me talk about here, the use of rocks. Like we have a natural rock called laterite, I guess that's the name, if I'm not mistaken. It is like, it is really dominant in our community. Like these are the rocks, sometimes these are the rocks that we, like other people can take to do the construction. If not using the ram earth, there is also the possibility of using this laterite rocks, which is being mixed with limestone to act as a cement. Like naturally, like, you know, when we talk about cement is going to be something that is modern, but for them, so they use like limestone and or oyster shells. Like the oyster shells can also be crushed and used as a cement during the construction process. And here we see the thatch roofs from dried bamboo leaves that are also being used here. And like I mentioned earlier in the first photo, yeah, you see this this round building here. It symbolizes the centralization of all the buildings in the compound, basically.
Very good, Fatoumata. Very good.
Sorry, my things.
Don't worry.
And here it's like a tribal settings. Like you see numerous various types of huts. Like here, directly you will know that this, like, it's not a compound hut, but it has to do with a tribe. It is going to signify that this setting, for example, it can be the Mandinga tribe or the Fula tribe, but mainly it's more of like the Sere tribe. Like you see them, like normally they try as much as possible to show the harmony, as you have all the buildings, they are always close together, to show how to symbolize the togetherness and the oneness of the tribes. So that in order, like for example, if there should be an attack from elsewhere or from another tribe, you know that they are together. So this is going to help strengthening their defense against other tribes. And Here, as I was explaining earlier on, here it's ram earth. Basically, this is ram earth, like this you see here. Like
Yeah.
we have different types of soils that we can use for construction. Here is the clay soil that we use naturally, like the wooden. There's this wooden frame that is used to make the ram earth blocks for the constructions. Another important thing that I can't forget is like the shelter for the domestic animals. Like these are things that are really required always in whatever traditional setting in the Gambia, like the shelter for the domestic animals. Like basically this is an example of how a shelter of a domestic animal can be. It's just basically dried bamboo sticks and the thatch roofs. And you see also that bamboo how to call it, dry sticks can also be used as fence. And yeah. So like this is an example of how we can use our shells that I was talking about for decoration. So basically, this is the ram earth building, but you see there is the presence of cowrie shells for decorations. Since we
I
can,
love that.
sorry.
I love that idea.
D'accord. So this is like basically, it's still representing our identity because, like I said, shells are dominant in our badges. So we want to be traditional. We want to represent who we are. So we're using shells here for decorations, and here is the clay.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Do you think that people from your country would be happier in a place that is looking very modern if it is a metaverse because they feel part of the modern culture, you know? Or would they feel more accustomed to be seeing in the metaverse things that they recognize from their heritage?
Well, I feel like there can be a mixture of both. Like
Right.
in order not to lose your identity, and in order not also to be left out of the developing world, there's still what we call semi-modern, semi-traditional. We can always try as much as possible to see how we can represent both representation at all levels.
I agree. You see, what I'm going for is this. If you see the shells in the wall, you see the shells in the earth, right? So how could you translate something like that, take that imagery maybe, and put that into a digital environment? What could you do with that?
Well, maybe through the use of digital tools in the metaverse.
But how would it look like? How would it look like for you? Do you have any ideas about that? I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an idea, okay? What if you just create a semi-transparent layer, you know, in a metaverse, right? You can use transparency, right? And you see these shells and they float in the wall, in that transparency. And they're made of gold and they twirl. Like the entire wall is made out of floating shells, for instance, right? You could do that. You could even make the shells really the same shell, copy that 1,000,000 times and make a pattern, just a digital, like pixels, but then made of shells, right?
Yeah, that's an amazing idea.
And then when you go, I'm not saying that we're going to build that, but just think about it. If you go to the wall, you can just put the shells, shove them away, and they all float away, and you create an opening for yourself. And when you're through, the shells close back. And these are all the things that we can kind of use. These tools, that's what we want to explore in our designs. So also for Mary, for Ellen, you know, and if everybody's still there, Gifat, Ikechukwu, we're thinking about what can we do to remain within the confines of our heritage and culture, but create a completely new idea about it. And use the things that we learn from gaming, you know, these kind of tools or user interface design methodologies to create a new language. That's what we're trying to teach here. Is that a little bit clear?
Yeah, it is clear.
Because we can take the buildings and put them in a metaverse, of course. That's not a problem. And like Mary also showed a beautiful architectures. I would love to see that. But then again, do we want to have, for instance, the thatched roof, the roof with the bamboo, right? It gives a very warm feeling, but is it also not very dark? You know, would it be very dark? Would there be a digital equivalent with, I mean, is that the bamboo is unregular. Every bamboo is different. And you create a pattern with it, it's an unregular pattern. But in a digital space, we can create digital tubes. They are precise. And we can create a pattern, but it's going to be very precise. Is that the same? Is that good? Is that something what we want? Or do we want to create an organic type of form? You know what I mean? These are all kind of questions that we have to ask ourselves. Alan, do you hear what I'm saying? Yeah? Gifat, can you hear what I say? Just say yes.
Yeah.
If you're there. Okay. Okay, Ikechukwu, can you hear what I say? Okay. Thank you so much. I'm just going to continue with Gifat now. Thank you, Fatoumata. Oh, sorry, Fatoumata, just one more slide, eh? You had one more slide at the end. Wait 1 second, Gifat.
No, it's done.
Yeah, it's done?
Basically,
Okay. Can we make Gifat co-host? Then Gifat can maybe... Did you make something, Gifat?
Yeah, I did.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, can you all hear me? Can you also
Yes. Perfect.
Great. So, for starters, what I did was to go back to the culture of Ghana and try to. Okay, let me actually go back to how Aki started this. During the week, on December 1st, I went to watch the Black Panther movie, and it kind of gave me a different insight to how I should approach the whole assignments in general. Because I noticed something that was unique about it. I mean, even though they were having all these sci-fi elements to which their culture still remains intact, you could see that culture element in it. So that took me back a little bit and made me start from, you know, instead of using the existing modern architecture in Ghana. Quick, if you take a very good look at it, most of them are borrowed, I guess, from the western side. I went back to the indigenous architecture in Ghana. And from that, I had these seven
Yeah.
phrases.
Yeah.
So then, let's start with the first one, which is the courtyard house. And the courtyard design is more about privacy and interconnection.
Yeah.
So these are some images that represent how the courtyard system works like in Ghana. Then covered walkways. So even though there's sense of privacy and everyone wants to be in their own space, when we go out, we actually like to communicate with other people. Spaces with pavilion spaces and covered walkways are created to facilitate these activities. So these are examples of some of the images. The next was the decorations and ornaments used on. These are more of my element or feature. They're used to try and differentiate between clans and family. It's also used as an expression of wealth and authority as well. So the next is the shapes. Yeah. So
How did you? Sorry, Gifat. How did you like working in Miro? It makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So the next were the shapes, and I didn't really see any triangular shapes, but the rectangular ones and the circular one. The circular ones were mainly used for spaces that were basically considered hot, the kitchen spaces and other spaces. And the reason is to try and create a homogeneous surface for heat transfer, basically. And the rectangular shapes are more of a logical use of a space, because it's really difficult to define circular spaces. So I think what they did was they didn't design one huge house, so many spaces inside it in a circular form. And then make it one unit, and then they make that circular space for us. So that when the space is well utilized, you don't end up having waste space in it. Because if you have a whole building in circular, it's really difficult to take advantage of every space. You end up having waste spaces here and there. The factors. And these are currently today. We have baskets over here, really common in there at the moment. The fence wall. And okay. The next, so previously, so over here, even in the courtyard system, they still try and create these kind of boundaries to show that this is my space. When I clean my space, I don't need to clean your space. Like my house is clean, your house is not clean. It's sort of a thing that still goes on at the moment. And then the rooftop sleeping areas for who increase you get at night and for security as well. These are the four main branches like of the Ghanaian culture. The next was to define what heritage means, why heritage, and ways in which the heritage can actually be implemented in the metaverse. And after that, I went to define what the metaverse meant for Africa and what it meant for Ghana. That's what's over here. Then I'm just trying to move to the main topic, that's why I just didn't go to this one. Then the area I'm deciding to work on is educational center. The reason why I'm taking or moving to the educational center is because I personally feel like if we're going to try and create that transition from reality to the virtual reality to the metaverse space and blockchain, the educational center is one of the best ways to do it, because it has the tools and facilities to gradually educate people and move people from the physical to the metaverse. So it's more like a fast-paced something, but a transitional one. So that's why I chose the educational center. So over here, I define what the educational center is. It's basically an institution where students get knowledge or attend classes. And students over here is not, kids per se, but anyone willing to learn. That's my definition of a student. So that's what educational center. Next side, some case studies on precedent studies on existing educational centers in Ghana. So we have this market over here. It's an open market, but then it also has an educational area to it where they educate people on how to produce grain and learn how to trade in vocations like weaving and as well. So these are some of the images of it. Sorry. The next one is the MUD cafeteria, also an educational center. It's located in the north of Ghana. It's a vocational school, and okay, so over here you can see that the material they used for it were all locally available. They had the mud walls. They used these ruler screens or wrapping these circumstances. The corrugated roofing sheet and then wooden rubber blades, naturally ventilated and generally open. So this is an image of the one. And then I looked at a more urban educational center, and this is the Buffet Foundation. It's more of an art gallery in a sense. But the design of the building in its form has a really unique way of unique look to it. Massive use of concrete open spaces. And I believe, okay, I think it's a light bulb. Generally, it doesn't really need lighting because of the way the spaces are open and the amount of light opening to it. There are no fans in it. It's always, and you can see that there's no fan in the roof, but here it's naturally ventilated. And all its walls, the way it was designed, it was done in a way that every surface can be used for educational exhibition purposes. You can put things everywhere. The whole building is platform.
I think it's very good. Very, very, very good. I hope everybody is also kind of seeing this.
So I got my thoughts together. Sorry, yeah, go on.
No, but your research is very well thought of, and I really appreciate your time that you put into this. Really good.
So next, I guided my thoughts to try and provide or get a philosophy for the design I would be going to do. And initially, I was looking at this in looking. So basically, you get views all around, but then your main focal point will be inwards. Then I sort of, I was looking at how most of the buildings in Ghana are and how Ghanaian culture is in general. I'm looking at this over here, and I was getting this sense of expression. Like it's kind of like people really like to express themselves in any way.
This is so cool. Gifford, this is so cool. I think Gifford, I think you really outdid yourself. I think this is very cool.
Thank you. So after looking at that, I realized that combined the two ideas, and then I came up with this approach: maximum maintains minimum. So the idea behind this is that.
Can you talk a little bit louder? A little bit louder, because your microphone is a little bit soft. Okay, please continue. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Great. So maximum maintains minimum. So the concept is how do I put it? The idea is that we're going to maximize the cultural benefits, the culture of Ghana, the heritage of Ghana, the values that are in Ghana, maintain the existing modern approach of how things are done in Ghana, and minimize the impact of the Western influence on it. The reason behind it is because what they're trying to create an identity over there. So maximizing the culture is where the identity is going to come. But currently, people have a current way of living that we cannot ignore. So we're going to try and maintain that as much as possible, and then minimize the impact of the foreign or the Western culture. The reason why I'm not excluding that part is because whether we like it or not, currently most of the research and most of the technological advances is happening over there. So for us to follow our own, we need to know what they know, or basically then how they knew what they know, so we can develop our own. So to an extent, we need something over there. So we're going to minimize that part of it, maximize a portion and maintain existing nature of the culture in Ghana. So come to the image over here, just this one over here. What I like about this is that it has the full skyscraper approach, which is something that is mainly Western, because in Africa we have lots of space. Especially in Ghana, skyscrapers isn't something that is really appreciated that much, because people want their own space. They would prefer to have their own four walls without skyscraper space. But here you have the skyscrapers. There's an arrange of around a water ponds of some sort, and you have these ornaments on the building. Now, because it's in the metaverse, there isn't going to be the need for ventilation or whatnot. So you see that the walls are all with this, you can create a very powerful enriching space for people to live in over there. Next is this space over here where it takes the idea from the people with a roof sleeping area. And with this one, you have the glass over there. You have spaces underneath it, or you have the meeting spaces, the open space. Basically, major activities that are important. The reason why sleeping spaces are, I see them to be important, is because you can't really do away with it. I mean, you can do away with the living room and whatever, but you need a place to sleep.
Yeah.
And if you look at how people approach small spaces, they, no matter what they do, they can't do away with a bed. You can do away with the chairs and the tables, but then there has to be a place for the person to sleep. I feel like it's an important space in the house. So hence, the idea of importance is going to be elevated to the top side, which is open to the sky. Next over here is the kind of interconnected weaving pattern approach over here. It's a concept.
I love this, Gifat. I love this. This is brilliant, eh?
Thank you. So with this, it kind of portrays the interconnection and the weave patterns that people use in Ghana, mostly rattan, which is like this kind of strips of bamboo that use baskets and nets and things like this. The next this image over here is mainly related to the idea of expression. So over here you can see so many colors, and I noticed one thing. If you look at the kind of designs that are appearing there, modern design, minimalist design, they take away most of the colors and you have these white spaces, open white spaces, and whatnot. And personally, I feel like that isn't really what Ghana is about. If you have an open white space, you are not. That's not what Ghana. I mean, Ghana would probably be the opposite of that, in the sense that you have an open space, right, but then keeping it all white isn't really expressing anything. So you can keep it something like this. It's having so many colors in it, but yet there's a sense of minimalism in this image. Even though there's so many colors you can see by it still has that minimalist essence in it. So that's why I mean by that. So the next one is this here. With this image, this is perfect. This is a perfect example of the maximum maintenance minimum, where the fabric the guy is having on the dress is something that is going to be the idea imported from the Western world. The way the fabric will be designed will be the existing nature of Ghanaians at the moment. And then these white lines can be used to can be designed in patterns and ways that are more cultural. So it kind of feels futuristic, but then you have that cultural element in this. The lines in it.
I think this is completely brilliant, Gifat. Really, really, really good work. Because you're also thinking about avatar design, you know.
Yeah. So next over here is so this is basically what I was trying to talk about when I was talking about the white speed, but not white, but having the colors in it and making it richer as well. So many colors in here, but then still has that essence of minimalism in there. So
Yeah.
Over here is an example of how the educational center would look like, minus the colors and whatnot. And I'm talking about the part where the screens are, the hologram effects are showing over there. So trying to make it more interactive for people and whatnot. But I think what the design would be about wouldn't be about how the people will be educated, but how the building and the spaces in itself would define the people moving in the space. This is an example of the rooftop spaces of importance. So having the trees holding it up and all that, it's really similar to how they use the tree log as a staircase to access the roof. And
Exactly.
yeah, I think these are just some extra images to support.
Look at the blue one, Kifat, the blue one. Show me that. With the middle, in the middle. Yeah, that one. What are you
This
thinking?
one?
Yeah, this one. What are you thinking here?
So with this one, the floor is, so over here you have these lights inside the floor and the patterns and whatnot. So the idea for this is still related to the colors in what is going to be its purpose is going to be serving. We'll have its floors having these colors from the Ghanaian culture in there based on what is being shown by. So if it's something about this one example, let's say food, for instance, there are areas that produce particular types of foods, and in that area there's a kind of clothing, there's a kind of
because I want you guys to see something, because you didn't know that, of course, Gifat, but we are building the prototypes for Fomaland already, right? And I just want to share my screen with you, because this idea that you have is something we're working on actually for Fomaland right now. And I just want to show you a little bit. Is that okay?
Okay.
Do people want to see that? I just want to show you because I think Gifat is exactly doing the things that I think that are communicating the things that I'm thinking about, and that I just want to show you how crazy it is, that how similar it is actually, you know. You can see my screen right there.
Yeah.
So basically this is a demo. So we're creating all these kind of little experiments, right? And I'm just gonna make it bigger, okay? So you can see. And there are two distinct prototypes that we're developing here. We're just creating the infrastructure, so to say, for the environment. And we want the environment to be interactive, but within the interaction, right, we want the users to be able to see where other users have been. So leaving traces or having elements that allow you to see. So if you're looking at this, we have created lights that are like voids, they're AI, and they circle around you when you come closer. So imagine, and the thing that you're doing, look at the floor, Gifat. We're creating this kind of patterns that when you walk somewhere, the floor becomes like a pattern, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is something we're developing. We're going to do it also on the road here, and then these lights will be in trees. So we're going to use natural trees, and the lights are going to be in the trees like birds. And when you're going to walk through the natural landscape, these birds are going to come to you. And why are we doing this? Because then you can see that if somebody else is in that same space or in that natural space, you see the lights around that person, you see? So it's way of communication also. Whenever I walk, like here, and I see that there are patterns on the floor, then I know somebody has been there. So I know that I can connect with that person, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, I'm gonna stop sharing now. I just want to say that I think it's very, also please remind yourself that you want to give us the Miro links, the links of your Miro in your folder. So create a folder in the drive for yourself, and the link is there to keep your progress. So please continue, Gifat, you're almost done. And then I'm gonna tell you about how to draw in the metaverse, okay?
Okay. Okay. So yeah, like one. Okay, next over here is this building I saw on Pinterest, and what was the reason for this image was because of the patterns that have appear on the face,
Yeah.
but yet the function is still eminent. You can see the function of the building, but yet it's still expressing the patterns on it. And
yeah.
And the reason why this building caught my eye was because when I looked at most of the building's designs from the culture, I realized that they designed their spaces according to the function, strictly according to the function. If the space is meant for a kitchen, they have very small window on one particular side that allows a large amount of light into the space, and that's it for the kitchen. They don't really make it modular in the sense that this space can be used for this thing later on and whatnot. So the function of the space is seen in the building, and that's something I noticed over here as well. The function being exposed and the patterns also shown in this building. Next over here is a kind of well, it's a way of I feel like this is more of an educational part of it. The idea is that currently in Ghana, there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of congestion. There's issues with movement here and there. And this image over here has kind of embodies everything I'm talking about. If you look above, you can see that there are some kind of covering on the sky over there, creating this kind of shadow art over there. So those patterns over there could be symbols or elements that are distinctive to each culture or each tribe in Ghana. The movement of people and pedestrians can be on one level, the movement of vehicles on another level, and then services below. And this, in a way, is to educate people on how we should, move on, or how we should approach our current situation in terms of movement generally.
Exactly. Yeah.
So over here, I noticed that another thing that was distinctive about the designs in Ghana is that the chief palace and spaces of authority and power have these high volumes, and it's not just high; they have so many ornaments on their columns and the walls and supports for the scene and structures that you feel like, okay, this person over here is of importance. That's what this image is all about. Basically, just trying to show how these high spaces can be done in a more modern sense.
Yeah.
Here is in this image, I'm still trying to get a better one with this, but then the idea is to try and create a big create these kind of home shelter spaces with these kind of designs in them, where people are living in these, they go to the metaverse and they kind of enter into the past in a sense. In a way, it's not like you're living in these huts and whatever. It's kind of an experience. And I'm very certain people would be interested in space like this, because in Ghana currently we have, I think, the most expensive restaurant and hotel in Ghana, that's Safari Valley. And all their spaces are natural spaces. You go to the rooms and they use recycled materials for the elements that they live with nature, the animals all around. They have all these natural things, and people are paying lots of money. It's literally the most expensive place, a hotel in Ghana. And when I went over there, I noticed that, okay, I understand why this place is so expensive. Not because they are using all these local materials, but then they are keeping it in a standard that feels, it looks old, but it feels new. It's like you are holding something that is supposed to look cool, but it's clean and healthy. It doesn't look like it will make you sick if you touch it. So that's the idea behind this, creating this kind of old things in metaverse, cause it would kind of create that feeling. It's just, touching the emotions of people. And finally over here, I think this was the first image I got. This is a picture from the Black Panther movie, the Wakanda movie, and this is how they had their people living over there. Personally, I wouldn't.
This is they call this Afrofuturism.
Yes. Yeah. Afrofuturism. Yeah.
Do you believe in this? Do you think this is how you would see, futurism in relation to Africa?
So I started researching about, say, I think 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago, Friday. So I'm still trying to understand what the whole movement is trying to talk about. But
I think it's important to think: is this cultural appropriation from Western people trying to define
exactly.
African futuristic culture? I think it is a little bit, because I think that a lot of these things would you imagine in the future of a country, there are cultural aspects to this, but there's also this feel that it's I don't know. This is a very interesting subject matter. I want to close it with this following, Gifat. I think it's really good work, and I just think everybody here has done a great job of working on the project, and I'm really so excited to see the results in a later phase. Thank you so much, Gifat, Mary, Precious, Alan, all of you, and Ikechukwu. I think we need to really be working on this level to get to the next step, which is going to be designing and building. So what Gifat is done here is really what the assignment was like. He went first to cultural history, then he went to the present, and he got in all these images together to create one idea of like different elements that he found important. And I'm very sure that a great design will come from this, Do you plan on building something maybe for the Afomaland demo, Gifat?
Yeah. So that's what I picked from the educational center.
I would love to. I would love to see this. I think it would be amazing, and I would love to work with you to create really this ideas of your on a bigger level. I'm going to share my screen now because we're running out of time. I just want to take half an hour with you to just walk you through the process. Alan, are you still there? I see Alan's ceiling. All right. Ikechukwu, are you still there? Precious, you're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Ikechukwu, if you're there, just please let me know. And Alan, looking forward to seeing you also. I just want to show you a video again of a project. There's a virtual reality project that we did for a client a while ago. Can you see my screen? Yeah, you can all see my screen?
Yeah.
So this is a gallery we designed for an artist. It was in VR. And the whole idea of this exhibition space was that everything was just COVID and everything felt uncertain. So we placed all the walls on books. As you can see, you see the books in the corner here. Everything was like very unstable. So the books were also keeping the ceiling and the beams together. So if you look at this, here, you see stacks of book keeping the architecture together, right? Because at that time everything felt so fragile, you know. We didn't know what it would be, and so we created this environment. You see, whenever you look at a painting, you see text coming up, and you have audio, and yeah. So this is was a concept I created, and how I started this was to just draw, right? So in this lesson, I'll tell you a little bit about how I approached drawing these kind of things, right? You can still see my screen, right? Yes?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so so I actually I just started to draw with ink and pen and paper. So you see the walls and the beams, right? And the books, and how this would kind of work out. So it's nothing too fancy, nothing too technical. And I would suggest you guys just use color pencils and paper and pen and just start sketching like this. You have a top view, like a sort of a how do you call it, a blueprint of the space from the top, and then you try to come up with some sketches first. Now, when we are drawing at this phase, we're still not drawing for 3D. We're just drawing to get some ideas and inspiration, right? Getting out of your mood board some ideas and putting it on paper. Okay? Everybody clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So that's phase one. And then the second phase is that I usually create some collages. And in architecture, this is done by many great architects. This is Archigram. It's a very known architecture collective. And they created in the 60s and 70s, they created these kind of architectures, you see? This kind of collages with lines and cutouts. Can you see this? So how I usually do this is that when I start sketching, can you see this, Fatoumata? Yeah? You can use magazines to kind of fill in ideas. In this case, you know, they had a black and white against colored background that works really well. You know, work with drawing lines on paper. I hope this is kind of inspirational for you. I just want to give you, so on the one hand, you can completely go with collages, cutting out, using colors, and drawing. Okay. And it doesn't have to be brilliant. You just need to have some straight lines and just have an idea of kind of spatially how you think want to look like. And what I did was, again, I with pen, I just wrote down the features that I found important. This says really high stacks of books, or the side of the wall is concrete. You see the inside of the wall, right? A variation in stacks, right? So this is how I approach these. But when I do a collage, I start with, I usually start with Photoshop. I'll just send you a link of free software you can use as well. And then just start with a kind of the environment background that I want to work with. So when I'm doing a collage, for instance, I want to, and a foamland is going to be a little bit like this, like pinkish, kind of grassy environment, right? I might want to make it a little bit more surreal, right? And in a foamland, we're going to have these kind of walkways that are floating over the landscape. So what I do then is then I create these kind of planes, and I make a new layer. I'm just going to show you a little bit how I work. And I just want to give you a little bit of an idea of how fast this goes. Things I can move around, and then usually, is everybody still looking at me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so very fast, I'm just gonna create some objects here, and you can basically take any picture you want of a background that you think is interesting, and you can do this with pen and paper or cutting out or whatever, right? It doesn't have to be too fancy. This is just also kind of the way that we think would work best if you are just trying to get your first ideas on paper. So now you can see I already have this kind of floating area, right? I might want to put in a rock maybe, or a tree. I have a big rock, right? And I just want to select inverse, and I put this rock in. And maybe this rock should be behind, and maybe it should be like a little bit like tilted and smaller, just to create some environment objects, you know. And so this becomes to look like a collage. I had some drawings that I thought would be interesting, you know. Maybe like this. And then I just trace it roughly around. And, you know, just see how this kind of resonates with the environment. Now you're thinking to yourself like, oh, but Rudolph, we don't have Photoshop. That's true. I'm going to show you some off-the-shelf type of things. So, and if you want to kind of make it look better, you know, obviously it takes a little bit of quick you know, editing, just to give it the thing, to make it a little bit sharper. I'm not going to do too much. I think, you know, overall you get where I'm getting at. So now I used just a drawing and a photo to create a little bit of an idea of what I think would be cool. Maybe here, another, and then I want to clean this up a little bit like this. And I want to place it a little bit here, maybe. And there's some trees and stuff like that. Is this okay? Is this understandable for you guys? Like how to approach some sort of,
Yes.
to get your ideas across. You want to work intuitively. You want to use the images that you want to build. And in these first sketches, we're not going to directly create a sketch that's going to be finalized building, right? We just want to create a sketch of like, yeah, from the mood board, I kind of think this and this is important. You want to draw it out, and you want to just make it look like as close as you can get. Okay. So this app, I'm going to put it in the documentation of the course, but I want to share with you already right now. Oh, back to meeting. What am I doing? Sorry, guys. So this is just maybe make a note of it. It's called speezup.com/app. And you can just upload an image. So that would be your background. Okay. Like here, like I did in the other one. And you can also make it like a little bit more saturized, like I did before. And then you can just put in an image. This is a free trial. And you can, let's see, you can do a cutout. Okay. And then you upload an image from your computer. And let's say we use one of these, the rocks. You select this and it's loading. Okay. You say how big you want it. And this is all working on the browser, okay? So apply. Next, I'm going to cut it out like I did in the other one. Takes a while. Okay, currently doing a Zoom call and cutting out a rock is a little bit difficult for my browser. Let's just assume that I like this. I'm sorry that it didn't work out. I think it has to do with the fact that I'm doing a call at the same time. But I'm going to put it in the assignment, yeah? In the assignment folder in the drive. Everybody still happy, by the way? Precious, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Were you able to add some images?
Yeah, I was. I'll share the link in the drive and let you know.
Okay,
when
that
I
would be awesome. Was this course helpful for you, for all of you, so far? Do you feel that you're learning something? Just evaluating a little bit.
Yeah, for me, certainly.
Yeah?
Of course.
Mary, what do you think?
Yes, I'm also learning something new and it's great so far.
Okay. Fatoumata, what do you think?
I am really learning